Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton with Big C. This is Charlton and Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the number one network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the number one sports show in the universe, according to Big C. And them good old boys down south, I want to say bienvenidos to all of our listeners in Latin America, also across the pond, in London, England, as well as Paris, France. Of course, you good old boys in Canada. You know we love you in Africa, the Big C tribe, but there's no one we love more than the good old boys down south in the land of the free and the home of the brave on a beautiful October 26, 2018, Big C. How's it going for you good old boys down south?
We're talking about other than being cold as heck. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
You got Thursday night lights. You got Friday night lights. You got Saturday night lights. You got Sunday night lights. You got Monday night lights.
Yeah.
Did I make it through the weekend?
I think you're living for the love of the weekend, Big C. All is fair in love and war. Love so much about this beautiful country. Lots to get to tonight. Just a fun day in California, a fun day all over the country. I do want to say this segment is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. And when you go by and test drive yours, tell them Charlton and Big C sent you. You know, I know it's Friday Night Lights. I know we have the World Series Game 3 here in Los Angeles, California. Them good old boys down in Cerveza Ring, they gotta win tonight or it might be a sweep, Big C. Also, we got NFL football, college football. It's all good. NBA's tipping off as well. But I would be remiss, Big C, if I did not talk about the pipe bomb suspect that was arrested today, this morning, and thank this to our FBI. I wanted to say a personal gratitude to all of our servant leaders in this great country. And you think about it, we have Kamala Harris, Attorney General of California, Thomas Thayer, Burlingame, California, Maxine Waters, Los Angeles, Eric Holder, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, out of Florida, Florida Senator Cory Booker, you know, actor Robert De Niro, James Clapper, New York, John Brennan out of the CNN offices, there's New York's George Soros, New York President, I mean, I think about it, President Bill and Hillary Clinton, Vice President Joe Biden, President Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, they're all safe, Big C. They're safe because of our FBI and our CIA and our Secret Service, and many of those same leaders, those same people, those departments, those oligarchies that keep our people safe and our president safe, they've all been maligned by POTUS. I'm just glad that they did not fall for the okie doke, that they're on their job, and they brought a bad guy to justice. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, it's great to have professionals in Washington, D.C., who people really do their job with class and character and expertise. And that's what we have, Charlton, when we think about our investigative departments of the United States, the CIA, the FBI, the Justice Department, Charlton. They work tirelessly. They don't play politics, Charlton.
No.
They play law.
Yep.
Is what they play. They play law. They went after a bad guy and found a bad guy, Charlton. There was no political agenda in what they did.
No.
There was not stoking a base in what they did, Charlton. They did what their profession called for. Is that they go out and they keep those in harm's way safe, Charlton.
Yep.
They went out and protected our past and present political leaders, Charlton, in the best of what mankind has in America. The thing that appalls me the most, I understand this sick individual Soros down in Florida, Charlton.
Yeah.
And when they captured him, the van that he was riding around in, Charlton, had POTUS and Pence all posted on the side of it.
Wow.
But the thing about it, the president came out and lied about it today. He said, well, I didn't see the van. The van was all over the news.
Over the news, yeah.
And he watched the news, otherwise he wouldn't have made the comments that he made.
Yeah.
But the van was all over the news. He wants to lie to his base in America continuously. But the people that were targeted, Charlton, were people who have been not advocates of the president, Charlton. They've been opponents of the president.
Yeah.
And they've spoken radically against him, against his moves, and a lot of people have. He doesn't appeal to everybody.
No.
But these are Americans, Charlton, and this is the thing they call First Amendment right.
Yep.
You have the right to say what you want, just as his rhetoric comes out the whole time and says. But he wants to say, well, the media's been unfair to him. Why? Because they don't praise all the nonsense and lies that you spew out every day.
Yeah.
So they're unfair to you. Everybody is not Fox News.
No.
Everybody is not going to walk around as you go up and down the street with toilet paper in their hand. That's Fox News, okay?
Yep.
Wiping you up.
Yeah.
That's what they do. But, to be honest, and here it is today, and even yesterday, Charles, and even last week, he never sent out any message to those former presidents, Charles.
I'm sorry, yeah.
That's a courtesy call to the Clintons and the Obamas, Charles. That's what administrative leaders do, Charles.
Yep.
And even today, when this individual was caught, if the nation remembers, regardless of your political stance, when Osama bin Laden was taken down by President Obama and his staff,
yes,
and the military,
yeah,
first thing he did, the first person he contacted was former President Bush.
That's right.
That was the first president that President Obama called. He called former President Bush, woke him up at home, and President Bush acknowledged that.
Yep.
That President Obama called him and woke him up, and that was matter of fact, didn't wake him up. It was in the middle of dinner.
Yeah.
And he was out of the restaurant with First Lady Barbara Bush.
Yeah.
They were at a restaurant, and Obama tracked him down because it was that important.
Respect.
As a respect, a professional and political courtesy, Charles.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when you have people that have garnished the office prior to you, Charles, and they're under Secret Service protection all the time, you owe it as a courtesy not just to them but to the country, Charles, to make contact.
I agree.
When we talk about professionalism, and I'll always go back to what Michelle Obama said during the last presidential campaign.
Yes.
She said, we need an adult in the White House.
Yeah.
And I don't care what party you're with. That's a very profound statement. We need an adult in the White House. One of the things that children like, and anybody that listens to this program that is a parent, what does your children want from you all the time? They want reassurance that they're doing the right thing. Even if they did something wrong, they want to come up and they want to have you to console them.
Yeah.
To tell them that you love them, that everything is okay.
Yeah. Well,
not that they wanted to do wrong, Charlton, but this is an individual that does wrong and still wants you to say everything is okay.
Well, I think the whole world is watching, and again, for all the people that were targeted, it's not your fault. Obviously, when hate is stirred up, this is what Dr. King talked about, and people can think about it. If you sit back and watch injustice happen, you're actually perpetuating it yourself. So I just hope that all of us, as a great country, don't stand up and watch someone do wrong and pretend it's okay. It's never okay. I doubt if anyone, no matter who you are.
This guy was hanging out at all the rallies.
Yeah.
He's been at all of Trump's rallies.
Getting pumped up.
Posting it online.
Yeah.
Taking all the rhetoric, he said, about a Benghazi cover-up.
Yeah.
That the Republicans and Fox News constantly still stoking a Benghazi cover-up with him.
Yeah.
With Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
And talking about assassinating a former president, Charles.
That's horrible. That's horrible garbage.
That's what he had on the side of his van.
Wow.
And all of this, if you listen to all the rhetoric that the president, number 45, has talked about before and since he's been in office, about the violence that he has stoked towards others. When you throw him in the back of a police van, don't be kind to him. Be rough.
Rough him up, yeah.
Lock up Hillary Clinton, Charlton. And if you punch somebody out, I'll pay your defense bills. And all these things, Charlton.
Yep.
And this is what these people that believe in him are starting to do now, thinking that they can do this stuff, Charlton.
Well, I wonder if the gentleman that was arrested is going to have Trump paying his legal bills. I just think it's horrible. And again, we got to stop the hate speech for all of us. And again, I just want to say, from Big C Sports to all the people that were targeted, Kamala Harris, whether it's Thomas Thayer, Maxine Waters, Eric Holder, Debbie Wasserman, Schultz, and Cory Booker, Robert De Niro, James Clapper, John Brennan, George Soros, Bill and Hillary Clinton, President Bill and Hillary Clinton, Vice President Joe Biden, President Barack Obama, Michelle Obama. We got our hearts and prayers praying for you. And you're human too. You have a title, but you're human. And nobody should stand back and watch foolishness happen that we hear at a lot of what POTUS is doing. You just got to shout it down. Big C, I do want to turn our attention to some of the high school football, Big C. I know you got that old Letterman's jacket. It probably doesn't fit anymore, but you're still wearing it, Big C. I want to get on Big C's top 10 high school football, and everybody has their opinion. I mean, if people say, well, how do you count all the high school football programs in the country? In fact, Big C counted all the high school football programs in the universe. He knows how to do it. Big C, I don't know how you do it, but you do it. Number 1, St. John Bosco out of Bellflower, California. Number 2, Allen, Texas. Number 3, St. John's of Washington, D.C. Number 4, Miami Central. Number 5, Mater Dei of Santa Ana, California. Number 6, IMG Academy. Big C, they have so many recruits from IMG Academy. Sometimes there's zip codes from all north, south, east, and west to go to that school. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, that's when you have that national recruiting campaign. It's amazing when you have an all-star, 5-star recruit at a high school, Charlton, and he grew up in Texas, but, his address is in Florida. And you got him out of California, Washington, Arizona, all over, Charlton. I mean, but, we just saw the lawsuit in New York where 3 gentlemen were convicted from Adidas.
Yeah.
And there's more to come, Charlton. But this is what has allowed these certain schools to get so big, these academies, these private institutions.
Yep.
They bring in these top-flight athletes, Charlton, and, getting them ready for college. It's almost like a college prep school that they're going to.
Yeah.
And they have an unfair advantage over the kids that are in those general high schools in those areas. But everybody has a goal of getting to the show, Charlton.
Yeah, that's true, getting to the show, Big C. In fact, IMG Academy out of Bradenton in Florida, they are barred from the Florida high school football playoffs because they consider them almost like a minor league team, Big C. So they're barred from participating in the Florida high school football playoffs. Their only loss in the last 4 seasons was when they came to California, lost to Mater Dei of Santa Ana, last year's national champions. Number 7, St. Francis Academy out of Maryland. Number 8, Centennial of California. Number 9, Colquitt County, Georgia. And number 10 is De La Salle High School of Concord, California. Big C, the last time De La Salle lost a Northern California championship game was 1991. It happened of all places at the Oakland Coliseum. They lost to Pittsburgh High School 35-21. In that loss, they were going in for a score. Big C, how do you? I think some of their kids have different zip codes too. Big C, your thoughts?
That's the thing, Johnson. You put together a team to win.
Yeah.
You don't put together teams to compete. You put together teams to win. You think about some of these parents in those areas, Charlton.
Yeah.
They'll go rent out an apartment just to give their child an opportunity.
They will.
At a potential college scholarship, Charlton, and to prolong their education life and potentially make some money on the back end of this.
Yeah.
But as a competitor, as a former athlete, and even talking to current athletes, Charlton, it's about going out competing against your peers.
Yeah.
And a lot of these kids are put in an unfair advantage scenario, Charlton, just as you talk about IMG and then, De La Salle.
Yeah.
When you bring in kids outside of their zip code, Charlton.
Yeah. Yep.
And, that's unfair for kids that grow up in a particular area and may not have that athletic base.
Yep.
That, all of a sudden, they don't have a chance. And you got to also look at that emotional scar that these kids suffer when you're playing against programs like that, knowing that you're going to get downtrodden in a game, 60, 70 points, Charlton.
Yeah.
And you're going to be demoralized for a while.
Yeah, same with De La Salle, like IMG. They kicked them out of a league, so they got to play an independent schedule because they just go around beating up other teams that are dumb enough to play on big seasons. It's all fair and level war. Like they say down in Texas, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. And speaking of trying, tonight, Chavez Ravine, Los Angeles, California, right off of Interstate 5, which connects Mexico to Canada, all throughout the West Coast. There's a lot of tension in the air in Los Angeles tonight. It's not about LeBron James and the Lakers on a 2-game winning streak since they just suspended that skinny guy with the braids, Big C, the skinny guy that they're saying, maybe we found the guy that we need to get rid of, Big C. But you look at the Dodgers at Chavez Ravine, they're 0-2 right now in the first 2 games of the World Series. Last time they played the World Series was 1916. Remember, World War I started 1914, ended 1918. And they played the Brooklyn Dodgers and the Boston Red Sox played the 1916 World Series. Boston won that series 4-1. If LA's going to win, Big C, if they're going to win at all, it's 1 game at a time. If they don't win tonight, they get to bring out those sweeps. And Dandy Don Meredith said, turn off the light, the party's over. But right now, I think the Dodgers feel there's a lot of tension, which might be a good thing, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, I mean, if you've ever been in a professional championship opportunity, you understand there's tension even before you show up.
Yeah.
Even before game 1.
Yeah.
And the Dodgers have had tension since day 1 when they arrived back in Boston.
Yeah.
but they're going to need a Rookie of the Year performance from pitcher Walter Buehler tonight, Charlton.
Yeah.
You know, they went into Boston and just had their hats handed to them with 2 outs in that game, Charlton. Every time they got 2 outs and 2 strikes,
yeah,
they could almost count on Boston getting a hit.
Yeah.
But they played that analytics game also, Charlton, where you left your biggest bats in the dugout.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen tonight in Los Angeles. They're going to have them all playing. But, you know, when you're down 0-2 in a series, you know, you've got a huge deficit. You know you have to win 4 out of 5 games.
Yeah.
To win this series. You basically have to sweep the other team, Charlton.
Yeah.
But if they lose tonight, Charlton, no team has ever come from a 0-3 deficit in the World Series to win a championship.
No.
So it's all but over if the Dodgers lose tonight. They have to find a way, Charlton, to get up early in this game.
Yeah, get up.
You know, tonight, the DH is not in the lineup, so J.D. Martinez is going to have to play in right field.
Yeah.
For the Red Sox.
Yeah.
So it's going to be more of a balanced slate for the National League team, the Dodgers.
Yeah.
But you still got all these professional hitters in that Boston lineup.
Yeah.
I mean, from top to bottom, Charlton, all they do is hit. The only thing that they have tonight going against them is that the pitcher's going to be hitting.
Yeah, it reminds me of this game. When you think about what happened in Boston, growing up as a little boy, I spent a lot of time at my grandmother's house, and she used to always say, baby, it's cold outside. Can you bring a sweater? Turn the heat up. It's cold, baby, it's cold. It's like, Grandma, it's like 70 degrees. She's like, it's still cold, baby, it's still cold. I think that grandmother went to, she actually voted for the Dodgers. She cheered for the Dodgers, and they took her to Boston. And like a lot of the Dodger players had that saying, it sounded like my grandma, baby, it's cold, it's too hot, it's too cold in here. Well, it's about 75 degrees in Los Angeles, California. If anything, when grandma says turn up the heat, Big C, even Mother Nature turned up the heat when the Dodgers said it's cold. You think the warm weather will help the Dodgers? They're a warm weather team. You know what it's like going from hot to cold. You don't play the same. I doubt if Boston will be affected coming to 75-degree temperature, but it might just chill. It might warm up a little bit what the Dodgers are trying to do, just like my grandma saw. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, that warm weather, Charlton, will make the ball carry better. You know, if you look at the Dodgers, they like to get the ball up in the air.
Yeah.
You know, and that bat becomes rigid, Charlton, when it's cold.
Yeah.
So that really affected the Dodgers when they were back in Boston.
Yeah.
But, you know, you still got to play the game. I mean, both teams are playing in that same climate.
Yep.
It's going to help the Dodgers a lot, Charlton, but I don't know if it's going to slow down Boston.
Right.
That's the key that we're looking at. Here's a team that's the best hitting team in baseball.
Yeah.
So you got to do a whole lot to slow them down, Charlton. The Dodgers pitching staff really hasn't showed anything.
Yeah.
That's going to intimidate these Boston hitters.
Yep.
You know, they outscored everybody in baseball, Charlton.
Yeah.
They outwon everybody in baseball during the regular season and here even in the postseason,
Yeah.
Charlton.
Yeah.
So there's no fear in that Boston lineup at any point from top to bottom. The Dodgers right now are playing back on their heels.
Yeah.
They're timid.
Yep.
They know that they don't have any room for error, Charlton, and that's what happens when you're in a championship game, Charlton. You know, it's as they always say, the butt gets tighter than a frog in a snowstorm.
Yeah.
And that's where the Dodgers are right now.
Yeah. If anyone knows how tight a frog's butts get in a snowstorm, Big C serves up a lot of deep fried frog down at his restaurant. He knows what he's talking about when the butt gets tight before they get dipped in and give their blessings to us to be consumed. You know, in sports, it's amazing. We have football, basketball, baseball, soccer, boxing, and MMA. It's all there for the asking. You can ask for anything you want. Everything is there for the asking. If you're the Dodgers, it's all there for the asking. You just got to take it. You got to work hard and pray hard. Whatever you got to do, you got to ask for what you want. It's all there for the asking at Chavez Ravine tonight. We'll see if the Dodgers can ask hard enough to get some blessings from the heavens, Big C. So they're in desperation mode. I think sometimes you play better when you're desperate as opposed to being too relaxed. We'll see what happens. Big C, as we look at some of the other things going on in the world of sports, I just want to get your thoughts real quick on NBA basketball. It's fantastic. There's a lot of good games going on. I think Chris Paul is coming back tonight after his down day from doing whatever, a slap fight. It's not a fist fight when you slap somebody with the inside of your hand. Remember Richard Pryor said somebody slapped him. He slapped Jim Brown, and he threw a rubber brick. He thought it was a rubber brick, but it was a real brick. Something about slapping somebody is not really a fight, Big C. When you're a man, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, I've never been in one of those flat matches.
Patty cakes.
If I was going to do it, I was going to have bad intent. Because I knew I was going to get kicked out, I was going to get fined or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have bad intent. I'm going to 2 or 3 people pull me off you.
Yeah, that's funny, Big C. Speaking of pulling people off, I want to touch on the world of college football. Big C's games of the week. I know Big C got a lot of tailgating going on, serving up some deep fried barbecue sauce. If you ever heard of barbecue sauce, you haven't heard of it until you had deep fried barbecue sauce. Big C does it at his restaurants. Big C, tonight, you think Miami, number 25 Miami at Boston College, and that game is on ESPN. It's really a big win for Miami. Boston College is 5-2, so are the Hurricanes. But I don't really expect much of the Hurricanes. This is not that Miami that they played with under Schembechler and also back in the day, Erickson, Jimmy Johnson, them good old boys. Yeah, your thoughts on that game tonight?
Walker?
Yeah.
Well, Charlton, that program had swagger back in the day.
Yeah.
The NCAA sort of quieted the program down in Miami when they put all those rules in because they had such a minority team and they were intimidating the Catholic schools.
Yeah.
And they didn't like that. Nor did Britt Musburger like that on television.
Yep.
Or Pat Hayden.
Yeah.
And Pat Hayden didn't like Notre Dame, but he was empathetic towards Notre Dame because Miami was kicking that butt so hard.
Yeah, that's true.
But, when you look at Miami, they desperately need this win, Charlton, more than Boston College does.
Yeah.
Because they're looked at on the national landscape. And you look at the beginning of the season, Charlton, they were ranked in the top 10.
Yeah.
Until LSU knocked off their first game. But a victory for Miami tonight helps LSU also.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that LSU will get lucky enough to beat Alabama next week because they're both idle this week.
Right.
But it would go a long way for LSU to have a victory by Miami, another top 25 team.
Yeah. It would help their win a lot, Big C. I want to bring up a game. This is a team that's hanging out in Utah, and no one really pays attention, but they're positioned to win the Pac-12 South. They're only ranked 24th in the country. They're 5-2 in the season. Not that impressive. UCLA, they're 2-5. That game is going to be at the Rose Bowl. It's a 10:30 kickoff on ESPN Sports Eastern Time. Utah's favored by 10. They might beat UCLA by more than that, even though the Bruins are showing a little bit more fight, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, you said Eastern Time. Nobody on the East Coast going to play that West Coast game. Get off at 10:30. For me, I'm in bed for a half hour at that point.
Exactly.
But, Utah really needs this game. But you look at UCLA, you talk about their 2 victories.
Yeah.
They both have come in their last 2 games, Charlton. So Chip Kelly has figured something out with this team. He put his young freshman quarterback in, and he's gotten some productivity out of it.
Yeah.
Utah was a team that was slated to be one of the top teams in the Pac-12, Charlton.
Yeah.
They need to win this game tonight against UCLA if they hope to stay in the title hunt for the conference.
I agree very much so, Big C. And now I want to jump into Saturday. There's a lot of good games. Number 2, Clemson, 7-0. They're actually Florida State's 4-3, not ranked. But Florida State, remember, they were horrible coming out of the blocks. Now they're playing better football. This is a trap game. They're at home. It's an ABC Sports, a noontime kickoff, and Clemson's favored by 16.5. Now, you can't say that Clemson has any better athletes than Florida State. We know the Florida State O-line is not that good, but they're starting to play a little bit better. Maybe not an upset, but maybe they'll cover that spread 16.5. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, I thought Willie Cotton got fired 5 weeks ago based on all the press releases that were going around.
Fake news, Big C.
But Trevor Lawrence has taken over the starting nod at Clemson, Charlton.
Yeah.
And they haven't missed a beat since he's become the starter as a freshman.
Yeah.
This team is so high-powered, talent-wise, Charlton, offensively, defensively, all the skill positions.
Yeah.
They just don't get the notoriety on the national scale because they're in the South, and Alabama and Georgia garnishes most of that, Charlton.
Yeah.
Even though when you think about Clemson, they've been in the title game only second to Alabama.
Alabama, yeah.
When you look at the run of it.
Yeah.
But Florida State has simplified some things offensively. I believe that's what Willie Cotton has done down there because Francois has played much better in the past couple of weeks at quarterback.
Yeah.
They simplified the offense. They slowed it down instead of trying to run that helter-skelter pace that he was trying to run in Oregon.
Yeah.
He's come back, and he's playing to his personnel. But you think not just that long ago, Charlton, this was one of the biggest rivalry games on the slate when you had Deshaun Watson,
Yeah.
Jameis Winston playing quarterback
Yep.
for these two schools just a short 4 seasons ago, Charlton, that this was a grand game on the national scale.
Yeah, it was, Big C. Speaking of grand games on the national scale, last night, college football, it was West Virginia ranked number 13. I mean, they blasted Baylor 58-14. And I'm telling you, that Grier threw for 353 yards and 3 touchdowns. That West Virginia team, they're kind of hidden. I know you make a lot of drives up there, Big C, running from Buford T. Justice, but they put a beat down on Baylor. Let them good old boys, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, you think just a week before, Baylor played University of Texas to 6 points.
Yeah.
It was a 6-point difference. I mean, it came down to the last play of the game. But Will Grier had a struggle that same week, Charlton, where he threw 4 interceptions.
Yeah.
Came back last night. He was the Will Grier that everybody thought he would be for the season. 353 yards,
Amazing.
3 touchdowns, Charlton, in a blowout, dominating win over Baylor to keep them in that Big 12 chase.
Yeah. He was dominant. Really loved seeing that. Another game. You look at Appalachian State. You think about them, 34-14 loss to Georgia Southern last night. That's that same Appalachian State team that pushed Penn State at the Big Ten power in overtime, Big C, earlier this season. What does that mean for Georgia Southern? Did they give them some of their own, you know how sometimes you go down south, you guys serve up your own libation. Did they give them their homemade Gatorade, Big C, your thoughts?
Well, you think about that. That seems like ancient history. The first game of the season when Appalachian State had Penn State on the ropes, and Penn State had to force that game into overtime.
That's
to
right.
win.
That's right.
But they go down to Georgia Southern. They spend a couple days in the top 25 in the country, Charlton.
Yeah.
And sometimes that goes to people's heads. They figure you just have to show up.
Yeah.
Well, when you show up in an area code that you're not used to being in,
yeah.
you get too comfortable sometimes, and they got a good old taking behind the woodshed last night down in Statesboro, Georgia.
Yeah, I know. When I was a young boy, I thought my name was Get Wood. I had to go out and get wood so many times, Big C. We look at other games in college football. Texas Tech 5-2 at Iowa State 3-3. That's a noontime kickoff, ESPN2. Iowa State's favored by 3. We look at Oregon State 1-6 at Colorado, which had so much promise 2 weeks ago. Colorado's 5-2 in the Pac-12 network at 3 o'clock kickoff, and the Buffaloes are favored by 24.5. I want to get your thoughts, Big C. Number 6, Georgia, 6-1. Last year's runner-up to the national champion, Alabama. They're versus number 11, Florida, at also 6-1. Big C, this game is actually played in Jacksonville, Florida. It's a 3:30 kickoff on CBS Sports, and them Bulldogs are favored by 6 points over the Gators. If it were reality, a Gator would maul a Bulldog, Big C, your thoughts?
Well, happy hour started today down there at noon, Charlton.
Oh, yeah.
It's known as the world's largest outdoor cocktail party.
Yep.
And everybody has fun. I mean, there's about 3 or 4 people that know what the final outcome of the game is, Charlton.
Yeah.
Because the libations are flowing. But you talk about a critical game at the crossroads of both of these teams' schedules, Charlton.
Yeah.
Coming in at 1 loss, and they know that team that loses is eliminated from any chances of playing in the SEC championship game, Charlton.
Yeah.
But, this game harkens back to a time when these two teams were both powers, and they've both risen back up. Dan Mullen has come into Florida and revitalized this program, Charlton. We also know what, Strong has done there in Georgia in turning that program around, being in the national championship game last year, Charlton.
Yeah.
But this is one of those games, Charlton, that when you talk about a snot knocker, they're going to be doing that.
Yeah. I think snot knocker sounds like a libation, Big C, but I think it really means something else. Thinking of snot knockers, Kansas State 3-4 at number 8, Oklahoma 6-1. 3:30 kickoff on Fox. Oklahoma favored by 24.5. But number 18, Iowa 6-1 at number 16, Penn State 5-2. It's a big game for both teams. 3:30 kickoff on ESPN. Penn State's favored by 6. This is the same Penn State that struggled in overtime against Appalachian State. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, also Penn State struggled last week against Indiana.
Yeah.
Iowa's not going to roll over anybody, Charlton.
No.
Chuck Ferentz has a tremendously tough team out there in Iowa. Always has great offensive linemen, Charlton. When you look at NFL rosters, they're sprinkled with offensive linemen from Iowa.
Yeah.
And this is the time of the year that they like, Charlton, when it gets a little cold. And, those hits hurt just a little bit more.
Yep.
And you get those 320-pound plus offensive linemen leaning on you, for 70 plays. You get a little tired.
Yeah, you can't get tired. A big game, maybe the biggest game that nobody's paying attention to. Number 20, South Florida. Big C, Charlie Strong, they're 7-0. They're at the Houston Cougars, who are 6-1. That's a 3:30 kickoff on the ABC Sports. And Houston's favored by 7. We told you about that Texas Justice. Charlie Strong coming back into Texas. You think them good boys want him to get out of there with a win, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, Houston has a couple of outstanding players. They got King at quarterback, and they got Oliver on the defensive end side, Charlton. Charlie Strong is undefeated. Doesn't get any national notoriety, Charlton, after leaving Texas. And he's only lost 2 games since he left Texas, Charlton. You think about it. Like last year, he was 10-2, 11-2.
Yeah, 10-2.
Whatever it was.
Yeah.
But this year, he's undefeated. But he gets no notoriety. And you think about the talent base down in Florida. You think about just that conference alone.
Yeah.
You got University of Central Florida, Charlton. They're undefeated on a 20-game winning streak.
Yep.
Charlie Strong, is 7-0 this year.
Yeah.
University of Houston is 6-1. We're talking about 3 teams in the same conference, Charlton.
Yeah. Yep.
And none of these teams in this conference get any national notoriety. University of Central Florida is ranked up at 10 and been there for 2 weeks, Charlton, and watch teams in front of them lose, and they still don't move up.
Yep, that's a good point, Big C. A big game for maybe bragging rights for second place in the Pac-12 South. Arizona State 3-4 at Southern California 4-3. Really tough seasons for both teams. 3:30 kickoff Eastern time on ABC Sports. The Trojans are favored by 6. Big C, Clay Helton, we know he's on the hot seat unless he knocks off Notre Dame. Give me your thoughts. Even if they play to win the game, I don't think Arizona State wins this game. But even Helton, unless he beats Notre Dame later in the year, he's also one of those guys that is talking about being on the hot seat. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, he put all his eggs in the basket behind a true untested freshman quarterback.
JT Daniels, yeah.
And so that didn't pan out for him, Charlton, because he's taking some tough losses. The rookie is under concussion protocol right now, Charlton.
Yeah.
But what you look at it in those situations, Charlton, when you have players that have been in your program, and you bring in an unproven freshman, and you say he's the best player that you have at that position.
Yeah.
Plus, you've had quarterbacks on your roster for 2 or 3 years, and they're like, what do you think of us?
Yeah.
And even the rest of the players on the roster are starting to look around saying, well, I can be replaced in a heartbeat.
That's a good point.
USC is in a total struggle this year, Charlton.
Yeah.
And, they can be knocked off at any time. They've shown that. We've seen them on national television games. They had a very fortunate win on their record, Charlton, against Washington State.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we'd be talking about Washington State being ranked in the top 10.
Yeah, that's a very good point, Big C. And speaking of Washington State being ranked at all, they're ranked number 15. They're 6-1 on the season. They're at number 23, Stafford, 5-2. That's on the farm. That's a 7 o'clock kickoff at the Pac-12 network. Stafford's favored by 3 at home. But I know Love has a little hitch in his giddy-up, and that David Shaw's team is well coached, but they got to be able to backpedal against this Washington State team. They're coming in playing strong, and there's only about 52,000 fans in Stafford Stadium, so you can't say, that's a big crowd for Washington State. They hold about 35,000, but I still see that's a tough team to beat right now, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, Tom, Mishaw is leading the nation in passing for Washington State, 400-plus yards a game.
Wow.
That's an offensive juggernaut. And when you look at Stanford, look at the struggles they had against Oregon, a pure passing team.
Yeah.
Other than a couple of mistakes by the head coach, they would have lost that game.
Yeah.
But now they're going to be facing Washington State, and we saw what Washington State did to Oregon last week. They throttled that high-powered Ducks offense.
Yeah.
And they just exploded on them, Charlton. So I don't give Stanford much of a chance. This is a Vegas sucker bet.
Yeah.
That if you want to make some money this weekend, take Washington State.
That's funny, Big C. Texas A&M, number 17 in the country, 5-2 at Mississippi State, 4-3, 7 o'clock ESPN. Mississippi State by 2. North Carolina State ranked number 22 in the country. They're 5-1. They're at Syracuse, 5-2, 7 o'clock off ESPN2. NC State by 1.5. Vegas knows something. You're favored by 1.5 on the road against a team that has 2 losses, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, when you're looking at NC State, they came off that horrible defeat last week against Clemson. When they were ranked and had a chance to play for the conference championship if they'd have knocked off Clemson.
Yeah.
But Clemson handled their business.
Yeah.
I don't see North Carolina State recovering quick enough. They lost their top running back, Gillingsley, in that game, Charlton. I don't see them having enough firepower against Syracuse and that young quarterback they have, Dungy, who can run and throw the football.
Big C, football's better, but Notre Dame is on top, at least in the top 10. They're ranked number 3. They're 7-0. They're playing Navy. Navy's 2-5. That game is in San Diego. Notre Dame and Touchdown Jesus must have a pretty nice endowment fund to fly all over the country. Big C, they fly more than Jerry Jones. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, they may have taken a Air Force or a Navy plane down there, Charles.
Yeah.
The midshipmen may have flown in.
Yeah.
But, they're going to be, I guess we're going to see a big game in Jack Murphy Stadium. The Chargers don't want to play there anymore.
Yeah.
So we'll see at least somebody's going to go down and utilize that place.
Yeah, that's
But
incredible.
Notre Dame, this is one of those games, Charlton, as we talked about with Georgia Tech playing Virginia Tech. You have to protect against the cut block.
Yeah.
When you're these big athletes that's used to playing with your hands up, you got to keep them down now as defensive linemen.
Yeah.
Keeping these offensive linemen from Navy off of your legs.
Yep.
Navy always plays Notre Dame tough.
Yeah.
That's their championship game.
Yeah.
This game goes back, Charlton, 80, 90 years of these two being rivals.
Yeah.
And so they get up for Notre Dame. Notre Dame can't take it easy. Ian Beck, the quarterback,
Yeah.
is going to have to play a little better than what he's done in the past couple of games.
Well, that game was an 8 o'clock kickoff, East Coast top on CBS Sports. Notre Dame's favored by 23. At least there's no half on their big C, so it might be a fair game. You talked about linemen keeping their hands down. I remember back in the day, Richard Pryor had a joke. He had a skit, and he said he balled his head up to fight this roughneck guy that he grew up with. And the man looked at him and said, "Man, put your hands down." He said he was so afraid to fight him, he didn't put his hands up for that fight. Maybe that's what Navy's going to do against Notre Dame. 2 more college football games. Number 7, Texas. Them good old boys from Texas at 6-1. They're at Oklahoma State 4-3. I'm 40. I'm a man. Well, there's an 8 o'clock kickoff Eastern time on ABC Sports. And them good old boys from Texas, they're favored by 3.5 on the road. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, they're hoping to get Ellinger back, Charlton. He hasn't been able to throw since injuring that shoulder. But I give Oklahoma State the advantage in this game, Charlton. Texas has done well throwing the ball.
Yep.
But Oklahoma State leads the nation in sacks.
Yeah.
So they're going to put a lot of pressure on the Texas quarterbacks. And, the running game is a big part of these Texas quarterbacks. And if you got an injured shoulder, you're not going to be as effective. But there's also going to be a lot of emotion down there in Stillwater, Charlton. They're celebrating the 30th anniversary of Barry Sanders winning the Heisman Trophy.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to wear those throwback uniforms, Charlton. And you got to understand the head coach, Mike Gundy, was the quarterback on that team.
Wow.
So if there's ever a game that Gundy can get his team up for, Charlton, this would be the one, and Texas has to be looking over their shoulder.
Well, that's a very good thing. Everybody got to look over their shoulders when they're in Texas, Big C, especially Buford T. Justice rolling around. Number 21, Oregon, 5-2 at Arizona, 3-5. 10:30 kickoff, ESPN. Oregon's favorite by 9.5. Hawaii, 6-3 at Fresno State, 6-1 at 10:30 kickoff. ESPN2, Fresno's favorite by 24. And San Diego State 6-1 at Nevada 4-4. 10:30 kickoff, ESPNU, and San Diego State's favorite by 2.5. I do want to say sports is a billion-dollar industry, and boys and girls sports is the foundation to this billion-dollar industry. For every athletic and sporting event, you need athletic and event insurance. We work with Ben and Mark. They've been around half a century. They work with Big C Sports. Whether you're a pro team, a collegiate team, a high school team, or your mom and pop soccer league, when you reach out to them, let them know that Big C sent you. Big C, there's something about going across the pond. As if we can't find enough stadiums in the United States to play in, Big C. We have the Eagles 3-4 versus the Jaguars 3-4. That's a 9:30 a.m. kickoff Eastern Time Sunday on the NFL Network. That game is across the pond. Give me your thoughts on who has the advantage. Eagles favored by 3.5, but they're all going to have some jet lag, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, they're going to have some jet lag, and the Eagles desperately need this victory, Charlton. I think the Washington Redskins have found their legs in first place in the East.
Yeah.
And that Super Bowl celebration hasn't ended.
Yeah.
But when you look at Jacksonville, Charlton, this is a home game for them. And you got to realize the only quarterback in the NFL that's undefeated in London is Blake Bortles.
Wow.
He's 3-0 playing games in London. So if he's going to get back off the side, you think about it. He was benched last week for Cody Kessler. They put him back in the starting lineup. He's 3-0 in London, Charlton.
Wow.
If he loses this game in London, he may get cut.
He may get cut, Big C. Cut literally, Big C. The Ravens, what a great game coming up. The Ravens 4-3 at the Panthers 4-2. They're playing that game inside the United States, Big C. What a bargain. And it's 1 o'clock kickoff Eastern Time Sunday on CBS Sports. The Ravens are favored by 2. Now, Cam Newton and them good old boys, they found some mojo in the fourth quarter against Philadelphia last week on the road. Now they come home and they're playing a Ravens team with a good defense, but they still have 4 losses. I want to know who you like in this game, Big C. They have the Ravens favored by 2 on the road, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, if it wasn't for Justin Tucker missing his first extra point in his pro career, they would have gone to overtime against the Saints.
Yeah.
So that was a heartbreaking loss that the Ravens suffered last week. And you got to realize they somewhat held Drew Brees in check.
Yep.
He was the second hottest quarterback in the NFL this year.
Yeah.
Cam Newton pulled up a miraculous 21 points in the fourth quarter last week against the Philadelphia Eagles when they started celebrating once they went up by 17.
That's a joke.
Not realizing there were 60 minutes on the clock, not 45.
Yeah.
And so that left him a little throttle.
Yeah.
But so this is one of those tough games, Charlton. You got the top defense in the league versus a team that had the hottest offense in the fourth quarter last week, Charlton. So it's going to be a nail biter.
Big C, the Bears. They're at home 3-3 versus the Jets 3-4, and that game is a 1 o'clock kickoff Eastern Time Sunday, CBS Sports. The Bears are favored by 7, and I know when you look at the quarterback, both teams have quarterbacks that are not much to write home about. The defense for the Bears gives them the advantage. Big C, your thoughts on who gets that win?
Well, no, I think Sam Darnold gives the Bears the advantage.
Oh, really?
He's the guy in his last 3 games who has not completed 50% of his passes.
Yeah.
And so you know that the Bears defense is going to get
licking the chop.
Has surprised people, talking.
Yeah.
In his last 3 games, he's thrown 11 touchdown passes.
Yeah.
So he has found a way to get the ball to his receivers. The one thing I didn't like about him last week, Charlton, up until the last play of the game, he had only completed 4 passes to his wide receivers.
Wow.
So all that underneath stuff to the running backs and the tight ends are great, but you got these wide receivers on the team for a reason. They go deep.
Yeah.
He threw the deep ball at the end of the game, completed it, Charlton.
Yeah.
But it was a yard short of the touchdown.
Yeah.
So he needs to do that a little more often, Charlton.
Yeah.
The Bears will dominate the Jets in this game.
Yeah, that's a good game for a defense and for the Bears to eat, Big C. The Buccaneers 3-3 at the Bengals 4-3. I remember both teams started strong, and now they're starting to wilt a little bit. That's a 1 o'clock kickoff Eastern Time Sunday on Fox Sports. The Bengals are favored by 4.5 at home, and it seems like the Bucs are still trying to figure out. They score a lot of points, but they lose a lot of high-scoring games. Will that be the same, Big C, this Sunday? Your thoughts?
Well, you got to realize, Charlton, the Buccaneers have lost 3 consecutive games. They've lost both games that Jameis Winston has started, Charlton.
Yeah.
Jameis Winston has had almost as many turnovers as Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
He's had at least 2 interceptions in each one of his starts.
Yeah.
And his team, he's been playing from behind. So this is one of the things that the Buccaneers need to do, is that they need to get on the scoreboard early, Charlton.
Yeah.
If they expect to stay in this game. Andy Dalton last week, playing against the Chiefs, Charlton, that's a tough hill for anybody.
Yes.
And they put so much pressure on you offensively, is that you're playing catch-up.
Yep.
I don't know if Tampa Bay can cover A.J. Green in this game, though, Charlton.
That'll be a great matchup to see, Big C. The Seattle Seahawks 3-3 at the Lions 3-3. That game is 1 o'clock p.m. kickoff Eastern Time Sunday on Fox Sports. And the Lions are actually favored by 3. You look at Russell Wilson, he's the only hope, it seems, for Seattle because he can scramble, he can run, he can pass. I don't want to see him being knocked around too much, but this might be a game that the Lions can get, even though it's hard to bet on the Lions when you have a guy like Wilson on the other side of the ball. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Stafford finally had some help in the backfield, Charlton. Johnson, the rookie out of Auburn, is one of the top rookie running backs in the NFL. And so he's put some balance in that offensive attack. Everybody has talked about Stafford's strong arm, but now that they have a running back that can control the ball on the ground.
Yeah.
But the flip side, you got that with Seattle also, Charlton.
Yeah.
They have 2 young running backs that have taken some of the pressure off of Russell Wilson. They're going to get some of their defensive players back in this game, Charlton, that haven't played at all this year.
Yeah.
So Seattle will make this a contest. And, it's going to be coming down between the quarterbacks. Can Russell make enough big plays to ward off this Lions defense?
Well, that Legion of Boom no longer exists in Seattle. I want to talk about another defense that used to be like the Legion of Boom. The Broncos 3-4 at the Chiefs 6-1. That game was a 1 o'clock kickoff Sunday on CBS Sports. The Chiefs are favored by 10, and there's something about Arrowhead Stadium. It's just a great place to play, and the Chiefs played well on the road and at home. That's a game where Patrick Mahomes becomes America darling. I still want to give you credit, Big C. You were pumping this guy when you said he was a senior down there in college at Texas Tech. I think the NFL is starting to catch up to what you saw over a year ago. Give me your thoughts on how he plays against this Bronco team, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, I'm wondering if the Broncos think if the second time around will be any better. They played the Chiefs close up at Mile High.
Yeah.
But now Patrick's back at home.
Yep.
And, he is getting better and better by the week, Charlton.
Yeah.
They put so much pressure on you, even when you have a great pass rush. He's not, flustered by the pressure that you put on him.
No.
He put that to Denver the first time.
Yeah.
Now that he's gotten even more comfortable in what he's doing, Charlton, there's no chance for opponents. Denver will get blown out in this game.
Well, I tell you what, it's not the team that won the Super Bowl a couple of years ago down in Santa Clara. The Redskins 4-2 at the Giants 1-6, a 1 o'clock kickoff Eastern Time Sunday on Fox Sports. The Redskins are favored by 1. That gives me pause. The Redskins 4-2. They're playing better now. They're at the Giants 1-6, and the Redskins are only favored by 1. There's so much distraction with that Giants organization. Everybody's they're trying to throw Beckham under the bus, but keeping a quarterback who's really hurting them and saying that he's still the savior, Big C. Why are the Redskins only favored by 1 on a team that's only won 1 game since 2017, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, that's perplexingly awful. Think about it. You trade your starting quarterback.
Yeah.
You trade one of your starting defensive linemen, Charlton, and you still have an advantage over an opponent that's leading your division.
Yeah.
With a quarterback that can't throw the ball more than 20 yards downfield.
Yep, and that's in practice.
And the Redskins have a defense that took control of the game against the Dallas Cowboys. They dominated the Dallas Cowboys. They have a tremendous pass rush.
Yeah.
You have a quarterback on the Giants that looks like the deer in the headlights of your car. Okay? Eyes real big.
And I know you've seen that look too, Big C. You thought.
Yeah, I've seen it a couple times. He hopped in the back and came on home with it.
Yep, it's the entree.
To favor, once again, let's go back to Vegas on that.
Yep.
Say this with me.
Yes.
Sucker bet.
Sucker bet. I understand, Big C. The Browns 2-4-1 at the Steelers 3-2-1. You got to know your math looking at these records, Big C. That's 1 o'clock kickoff Sunday Eastern Time on CBS Sports. And the Steelers are favored by 8. Both teams turn the ball over like the football's hot. They both turn it over, Big C. But the defense on both sides, all I can say is it might be a game of turnovers. Is the over-under on turnovers 3 in this game, Big C? Who gets that win, Pittsburgh at home or the Browns?
Well, you got to look at the Steelers, Charlton. They've beaten the Browns 19 of the last 21 games at home.
Yeah.
They're not really worried about the Browns, and even though, they might say the Browns have changed this year, Charlton, the Steelers are starting to hit their stride the way they're playing football right now. The Browns have had some opportunistic opportunities. But until you capitalize on those opportunities, Charlton, you're still the same old team.
Yeah.
And they haven't found a way to win consistently.
Yeah.
When you're in that position, and they've been in every game, they were in every game last year. You realize they averaged loss was by 7 points last year or less.
Wow.
And this year is the same boat, Charlton.
Yeah.
But you have to find a way to be on the other side of that ledger, and the Browns haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield, he has to eliminate his turnovers. He has to get rid of the ball on time. He can't sit there and try to make things happen. This is not college ball, where you have a team with athletes that are better than your opponents.
Yep. That's
You have an NFL team that you're playing against.
Yep.
That's just as good, if not better than you.
Yeah, that's very good, Trick. I'm telling you, that's a game I want to see if the turnover is +3 combined, Big C. The Colts 2-5 at the Raiders, Big C, out here in Oakland, California. The Colts 2-5. The Raiders 1-5. That's a 4 o'clock, actually 4:05 p.m. kickoff Eastern Time Sunday on CBS Sports. And the Colts are favored by 3. Who gets lucky in this game? Will the Raiders get lucky and win, or will the luck turn to the Colts, Big C, with Andrew, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, John Gruden has lost the locker room, Charlton. There's no one in that organization there in Oakland that has any faith or belief in their head coach right now, Charlton.
Yeah.
Andrew Luck is averaging some 45 passes a game. I think John Gruden made a comment saying, you got to find the pass rush. You got to teach somebody how to rush the passes.
Yeah.
You think about how many times Andrew Luck has been hit in other games.
Yeah.
And now he can throw the ball 45 times and potentially not get hit.
Yep.
The Raiders lose.
Yeah. I tell you, just being over in Oakland the other day, looking at the Coliseum, there's so many boxes stacked up outside. It's like when you go out of town, you get your suitcases packed, and they have these aluminum boxes packed up all outside of the stadium. When you get off the BART to go over to the Coliseum, there's a little walkway that walks over a little highway and some train tracks, but it's not a clean look. It looks like they're moving out. Oh, maybe they are moving out, Big C. I want to go and look at another game that some people are giving the Packers a chance, also in California. The Packers 3-2-1 at the Rams 7-0. That's a 4:25 p.m. kickoff Eastern Time, Sunday on Fox Sports. The Rams are favored by 9. Big C, the Rams might be up by 9 by halftime. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, you know, people say, wow, how can you give a team 9 points against Aaron Rodgers? Well, the last time Aaron Rodgers had a spread that high, I think it was 8.
Yeah.
He lost.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you got to look at what the Rams have done.
Yeah.
They're not in fear of anybody. The Packers haven't stopped the run on anybody.
No.
And you got Todd Gurley.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they have no answer for Todd Gurley. Don't worry about the receivers. You don't have any answer for Todd Gurley.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, Aaron Donald leading all defensive tackles and sacks.
Yeah.
And he's the closest guy to Aaron Rodgers, who is now a drop-back quarterback, who is not running around any longer.
Yep.
Yeah, take the 9.5 in the Rams.
And because you're advertising, Randy Donuts ran out of donuts, Big C. So Aaron, they can't eat some donuts. They're gonna have to eat up Aaron Rodgers instead, Big C, because Randy.
Some cheese instead, huh?
Yeah, they're gonna have some cheese instead, Big C. No more donuts. They sold out on those jokers. The 49ers 1-6. At the Cardinals 1-6. Man, what a game. I can't wait to see this game, Big C. It's 4:25 kickoff Eastern Time, Sunday on Fox Sports. And the 49ers are favored by 1. They might score 1 point, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, this is a game they should win. You look at the Cardinals.
Yeah.
They got a rookie quarterback that can't complete 50% of his passes.
No.
He's got a broken toe.
Yeah. And he's still starting.
It's hard to find, something good about this game.
Yeah.
The rest of two even got Preston. Preston is a better quarterback right now than what Rosen is.
Yeah. Yeah.
The 49ers, the running game has been solid this year.
Yeah.
I think the 49ers can put enough pressure with their defensive lineman on Rosen, who is no longer mobile, to just dominate this game.
Yeah, that would be the guy with a broken toe still gets a job in the NFL. And I want to look at a game, might be what's considered the game of the day, or at least maybe one of the top 2. We look at the Saints 5-1. They're at the Vikings 4-2-1. That's an 8:20 p.m. kickoff time, Eastern Time Sunday, on NBC Sports, the great Al Michaels. Now, the Vikings are favored by 1 at home. This is the scene of the crime for a lot of them good old boys down in New Orleans. Remember last year they had that game wrapped up, and then them good old boys from Minnesota pulled it out on just a miraculous catch, Big C. I want to get your thoughts. Will they take that momentum from what happened last year and get revenge, or do the Vikings roll? Because obviously you got to stop Drew Brees. No one can do that, but do the Vikings defense have enough to slow him down, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, this was a game that the Saints dominated last year in the playoffs. If not for that great catch by Stephon Diggs and the miraculous throw by, the quarterback, Keenan.
Yeah.
I mean, the Saints would have been playing in the NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
But, they brought in your cousin this year to not have him in that position.
He's not my cousin.
They want to have him up in the game.
I'll take his money.
And when you look, do the Saints have an answer for Adam Thielen, who is leading the NFL in receptions and yards, Charlton?
Yeah.
Well, the top receiver in the league right now. I mean, the other guys get more notoriety because of their flash and flair. But this is that blue-collar receiver.
Yeah.
Stephon Diggs is taking the second tier, but he's still an all-pro receiver.
Yeah.
The Vikings are going to have the running game. That's what they're going to need. Murray has been running well the past couple of weeks, Charlton, a very dominant, powerful runner.
Yeah.
But Drew Brees, is an equalizer. This is going to be a shootout, Charlton. And I see an over and under score of 65 in this game.
Wow, that's going to be an incredible game to watch. It was great last year. Hopefully part 2 is just as good. We have the Patriots 5-2 at the Bills 2-5, and that's a Monday night game at 8:15 p.m. kickoff Eastern Time on ESPN. The Patriots are favored by 14. Big C, the Patriots could have 14 by the end of the first quarter. How is this point spread so close when Buffalo doesn't even like to play football anymore, Big C, especially the guys that got getting off the couch coming in and playing? Big C, your thoughts?
Well, I think Derek Anderson might be able to pull a rabbit out of his hat. It's nothing a wrinkle jacket out of his toothpaste.
Or Randy's Donuts, Big C. At least Randy's Donuts.
This is one of those games, Charlton, that, as an NFL person, how can you function in an organization like this, Charlton?
Yeah.
Is that you have a quarterback who would rather throw to an opponent than his teammates, Nathan Peterman, so you bench him.
Yeah.
You go out and you sign a guy off his couch who's been laying there for 7 years. You throw him into an NFL team, John.
Yeah.
Now everyone talks about the speed of the game.
Yeah.
From college to pro. What the hell is the speed of the game from the couch to the pro? He proved last week when he couldn't even put a touchdown up.
Yep.
But he could throw some interceptions.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what the Bills are thinking as an organization right now, Charlton. They drafted a guy that said he was the future.
Yeah.
There's no future there with him.
Yeah.
You kept a guy on the roster who said he was better than the two guys that you traded in, A.J. McCarron and Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah.
Then you got nobody, and then you go get a guy off the couch and say you want to compete. You got to look at the morale of the rest of the Buffalo Bills players, Charlton.
Yeah.
You're walking into a game as a professional football player knowing that you don't have a chance to win.
Yeah, no, you don't have a chance. Like we say, it's all there for the asking. If you want something, you got to ask for it. If you're asking enough questions, ask the King, the King James. They're on a 2. I think they won the last 2 games, Big C, for the LA Lakers. So basketball is coming back to LA. Just give me your thoughts on getting some pressure off of the Lakers because they've won 2 in a row. Now that Eagles on a little suspension, Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, they win their first home game of the season.
Yeah.
And that's what the Lakers got to do. I mean, so many of these preponderants out there talking about, the Lakers are going to dominate the West. They got a chance to be, the Western Finals. No, they don't. They got a chance to be competitive.
Yeah.
They started off 0-3. Yes, they won 2 in a row, but they're still a sub-500 team, Charlton.
Yeah.
And they're going to play some tough teams as they go on.
Yeah.
They have not found continuity yet.
No.
And when you think about where they are, Charlton, they're not even one of the top-scoring teams in their conference. So they really got to look down the road and see the challenges that they face.
Yeah, they're going to have to face a lot of those challenges. I want to run a couple more teams, Big C, before we close out on the World Series. Oklahoma City, the Thunder remain winless. You think about it, 101-95 loss to the Celtics. They even got beat by the Sacramento Kings. Big C, your thoughts on OKC?
Well, Russell Westbrook didn't do any preseason games, Charlton, because he had a knee procedure.
Yeah.
So it's going to take, 2 weeks at least for him to get his legs under him. He's got to get his conditioning in. But also he was 0 for 7 in the fourth quarter last night.
Yeah.
He needs to understand within himself, if I'm not in shape, let the other guys take the shot.
Yeah.
Because that was the difference in the game, Charlton. If another one of his teammates had hit a couple of those shots,
yeah,
they may have won.
Yep, that's true, Big C. Damian Lillard, there's something about that good boy up north in the city of Portland. He dropped 41 points last night, Big C, helping the Trailblazers put down the Magic. There was no Magic in that game. Just give me your thoughts. They're 3-1 in the West. Damian Lillard, he's a stud, but when they run up against some good old boys from New Orleans or even from Golden State or maybe even Houston, they show that they really know better than really a 3 or 4 seed in the West. But give me your thoughts. 41 points, that's a lot of points, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, they went down to Orlando, Charlton, into Mickey's house and kicked some butt. It's what they did. And, but you think about Lillard. He's been one of the consistent guards in the NBA, Charlton, for the past several seasons.
Yeah.
And, they put all type of pressure on their opponents. And 41 points on the road, Charlton. And that's that Western Division we're talking about. When you look at the dominant teams out there and the points that they're hanging, and the Lakers are not in the top 5 in the West, even in scoring.
No.
And here's Portland 3-1. and they're not even the top team in the division.
Not even.
You don't want to face right now, Charlton, in the West, and even Golden State doesn't want to look at.
Yeah.
Is the Pelicans.
Yeah.
The Pelicans are averaging 132 points a game, Charlton. Think
Wow.
about that.
Wow.
100. I mean, they're playing pinball basketball.
Yeah.
That's like playing on your PlayStation or something.
Yeah.
But 132 points a game, and you know, you get the OKC scoring 99.
Yeah, Big C, I guess that's funny. You know, Scarface, he said, "Give me a Pelican, Pelican, give me a Pelican." One of my favorite movies, Scarface, the great Al Pacino back in the day. I guess the real question is, Big C, how good does a pelican taste, Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, it's a bird. You know, you brine it, you know, get a little salt in there. And,
Yep.
You know, let it sit overnight, that brine, and you can, you know, come up with some seasoning for it.
Yeah, that's always fair in love and war. I'm glad that everybody's safe, all of our politicians, dealing with someone who's dumb enough to deal with a pipe bomb, and just wishing everybody the best, especially the former president, Michelle Obama and Barack Obama and Hillary and Bill Clinton and the VP Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, Maxine Waters, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Cory Booker, Robert De Niro, John Brennan. I mean, there's so many, George Soros. We can't just thank you enough to our Secret Service, our FBI, everybody that keeps this country safe. And for you good old boy knucklehead sports programs that don't even talk about our nation's leaders being attacked because you want to know who won the game, or who's going to score more points in this game, who's going to score more touchdowns. We're all part of the same media that they were hated over. The hate came from media. It came from one person. You can know who did it because you know who's spreading the hate. But for everybody that's safe and everybody who works in media, we're all suspect to some knucklehead not liking us because of some horrible speech that comes out of the nation's capital. Big C will close out by saying, in Los Angeles, California, Game 3 of the World Series, Chavez Ravine, Los Angeles, California, the Beantown Boston Red Sox up 2-0. LA must win, Big C. At first pitch, the place was packed. I mean, people got off work early in LA because they know in LA you got to win tonight if you're going to win it all, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, you know, desperation, you know, brings it out in all of us that we must be competitive.
Yeah.
Well, when you look at the Dodgers, like I said, they got their big bats in the lineup tonight.
Yeah.
They had to sit in Boston in that last game. And when you have a team that's run by analytics,
yep,
they're not on the field playing.
That's true.
You know, when guys lead your team in home runs, I want them out there every opportunity to keep swinging that bat.
Yeah.
You know, and when you look at the manager, Roberts, Charlton, people will blame him, but he's not making the decisions. It's coming from up above him, Charlton.
Yeah.
You know, we've seen the pitching staff. We saw Kershaw. We saw Rue.
Yep.
You know, neither one of them can get the job done, Charlton, with 2 outs.
Yeah.
This Boston Red Sox is a red-hot team.
Yep. They are, Big C. And they need Machado. They need Bellinger. They need Puig. They need everybody to hit. It's all fair and love. Big C, back in the day, there was a man by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, with all you got to use, how can you lose? Run, Big C, run. I'm saying run, Big C, run. He said, rumble, young man, rumble. Big C, I'm just got to tell you, the Dodgers got to do it tonight. I want to see more baseball. I don't want to see a 4-game sweep. Big C, what's going on in your universe?
Well, Charlton, I'm looking back at last night with the Houston Texans versus the Miami Dolphins. Deshaun Watson looked like the Deshaun Watson we saw last year as a rookie, Charlton. Last night, 5 touchdown passes, Charlton, in a beatdown of the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah.
And we had talked about that in the show, that they had a defense that didn't like Brock Osweiler, who was there last year stealing $37 million.
Inside job, yep.
Deshaun Watson, this Houston team started out 0-3, Charlton.
Yeah.
They're on a 5-game winning streak, leading that division now.
Wow, that's an incredible, Big C. It's all great. I mean, everything's there for the asking. Somebody won almost $1 billion, Big C. You still got to get that bling bling off your phone. There's so much going on in college football, high school football. We have NBA. We have the World Series. We have Randy Donuts sold out, Big C. Calls it Big C, and we can spell out too every Monday through Friday at 5 and 6 p.m. worldwide when you follow Big C Sports on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to Big C and them good old boys down south. As we always tell you, there's never, ever any excuse for domestic violence. If you know any man or woman going through that garbage, please call 911, because no man or woman should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. And as we always tell you on every Big C Sports Show, we thank you, we appreciate you, and we hope you have a super fantastic day.